All right, hello everyone. My name is Disc. I'm a title healer from The War Within, and this is a level 15 Magisters Terrace playing Torments as Oracle. So before we get into the talents for this run, please remember to give a comment, like, and a subscribe on the video. We're doing really good for the season so far. Also, check me out on Metafy. This is where I do all of my WoW coaching, and I also think, finally, I've opened up super thanks and memberships on my YouTube channel. This is where I'll be sharing all of my import-export codes for my add-ons. And before we get into talents, I wanted to give a quick comparison of what I've found as I play all the different types of builds you can do with Discipline. So in this key, Oracle with Torments, I'm pulling around 30,000 DPS. If you're Oracle with a shield build, it's going to be more like 20,000 damage per second. And if you're playing Voidweaver, it's going to be 50 plus. So I think pick your poison. Oracle is probably safer. Voidweaver is more fun. But this is a build I've not featured on my channel in a minute, which is Oracle with Torments. And this does a lot for our mana economy. I think that's what you call it. But Oracle with shield build, very hard on mana. If you can bring in pets and bring in Torments, it's going to do a lot to help your mana. And on the subject of Torments and Executes, in this video I'm running Platinator, but it's kind of falling behind when it comes to its competitor add-ons. But my preferred add-on for plates is Better Blizz Plates. It actually has a way to show Executes with a color change, which is major for any Execute class, all priests, especially if you're playing Torments and Deaths. But Better Blizz Plates is not quite up to snuff yet. There's a lot of bugs. Been working with both the add-on authors to get this cleared up, so hopefully soon I'll be able to make the full switch to Better Blizz Plates. We'll see it in my videos, and it is, I think it's better. It's a little bit closer, well, a lot closer to just what native nameplates look like, and I want my videos to look as native as possible. And Platinator, my biggest qualm with them is they do a full rebuild of nameplates, which I don't really like for my videos. But yeah, nevertheless, this is Platinator. Future videos will likely be Better Blizz Plates because they're going to highlight our Executes more clearly. All right, so here we have the talents that I ran for this key. Definitely want Mass Dispel, or at least consider taking Mass Dispel. There's a couple places where you can save the group with one extra cast. And then over on the Discipline side, this is what I've been doing for a lot of my keys recently. I think as keys get higher and tighter, I'm likely to reallocate some points. But this is Oracle build playing with Expiation and Shadow Fiend. So we really have to be comfortable with switching targets and always looking for these Executes. Does a lot for our output, does a lot for our mana. And we're combining that with Evangelism and the Mindbender. So we're doing as much as we can with pets, playing Evangelism pretty much on cooldown. And I am banking several points still into the left side for Holy output. I think there's definitely an argument to be made, you know, for banking all this into Shadow, getting some extra into Pain and Suffering might be good. So one point of contention here that I guess I wanted to highlight is I'm taking 2 points into Dot Spread. This might be a little bit of an overcommitment, especially when you get to single target bosses. So I definitely think in the future, I might be doing something like this. I'll sacrifice one of those points to buff my dots. You could sacrifice that to go into Lenience. You could even maybe sacrifice one of the Harsh Discipline to take 2 over here. But in this key, I'm running 2 points into Dot Spread. Basically what this does is gives you infinite Shadow Mins, which I do think is kind of our oh shit button, if you want to call it that. And being that we are playing Expiation, this gives us a lot more dots to play with and to expiate. But that is it for this intro. I wanted to do a little bit better with this video. My last handful were a little bit cheap, but I've just been too busy. Started a new job, filming a dance piece on tomorrow, actually. So prayers and best wishes for me tomorrow. I'm a little bit older than I used to be. This is the first time I've published a dance in about 4 years. So there's a lot riding on it. I think it's going to be beautiful when it's done, and I'll definitely show it with all of my WoW subscribers. But yeah, before we get into this key, please help with some engagement. Give a like, comment, and subscribe if you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know. Super thanks, and memberships are open on YouTube. Check me out on Medify for WoW coaching. And let's go ahead and clip over to the key. All right, here we go. Did this key about 30 minutes ago, so let's see how well I remember it. See if from a removed perspective I can see anything I did wrong. But I think I've determined my PI is going on the lock. He has 4-piece and the most gear. And I like playing PI on first pull. It comes back in time for the mini-boss. So I set my focus early on the big guy. Oh, I PI'd Shaman. But as an opener here, if you're playing Mindbender, you always want to open with Evangelism before your Mind Blast. Mind Blast triggers a Torment, and that's the harder of the spells to get a Torment off of. So that attack, the Crowd Dispersal I think it was called, I put out a handful of Void Shields first, plus my Fade. And I'm not sure I got any executes there. I'm way too spoiled with nameplates changing colors on execute, and we don't have that at the moment. So, Fade, 1 dot. Then I start putting penance on cooldown. We have magic dots, so we have to be really careful with here. This is where Mass Dispel comes in handy. Yep. I Mass Dispel on my opener, just to start assisting. Playing Void Shields as I can. So like I'm filling in some dots here and there. And putting our first uppies on cooldown. There was a defensive penance into the lock. Dispelled one and healed the other. Paints up on the tank. And a lot of people have questions about how to use penance. I think they've seen it somewhere or they've heard it somewhere that penance is supposed to be one thing. And I look at penance as very situational. The higher the key, the more defensive penance you'll take. I think the older a pull is, the more defensive penance you'll take. But I really like giving offensive penance. It's good for dot spread, good for damage. But it's always situational. Okay, I have my focus picked. Radiance into Evangelism for the double proc. Second PI is out. Dropping Void Shields as I get them. Second Mind Blast on cooldown. So we have no spells here. We kind of just got to go manual. But you might also notice right above my shield I'm using the built-in buff tracker to see where my Shadowmans are. Quick dispels for the win. And when it comes to dispels, a lot of the times my philosophy is they're testing your reaction times. The quicker you can get a dispel off, the better. Here comes the big group hit. Faded preemptively. Oh my god. If anyone saw that, I really fumbled there. Thankfully no one died. Defensive penance into the tank. Let's see if I start getting some executes. We need some help here. That was a good execute to have. Looks like I kind of held the execute anticipating the group hit. We needed that atonement healing. There's another execute, switching targets to follow my dots. Yeah, I'm really eager to get back to Better Blizz Plates. There's a purge. Better Blizz Plates changes colors in execute range. It is a big deal for priests. Okay, I have my focus selected. Before we started the key, we said we're not going to do this pull, but he went for it anyway. PIs out. Evangelism. Defensive pins into myself. I just wasn't playing around. And I believe there were some executes to be had there. But I was playing more defensive than offensive. Especially until Better Blizz Plates gets their shit together. Okay. Yeah, so I think it goes without saying, the start of that pull is really hectic. I believe I played Desperate Prayer and Fade. I played my second Fade on the second ignition. But these guys, I think we all know it by now, the worms blow up when they die. Okay, so I think this is uppies. I have it in 5 seconds. I'm delaying a little, just getting some general spell casts out. Radiance. Putting Mind Blast on cooldown into the uppies. And these, I don't really think we have to dispel them, unless it's maybe a melee. And for boss timers, I'm really only tracking the Arcane Expulsion and the Refueling Protocol. So one is a damaging event, one is a damage amp. So those are kind of my philosophies when turning off timers. Okay, this is our damage amp. So here goes Evangelism. Arguably a little bit late, but I want to get as many torments on this guy in this window as possible. Watching his channel. Yeah, so I missed some torments, but that's okay. PI is coming up in just a second. There it goes. Always trying to cast a Radiance before Penance, especially when it's buffed by Mind Blast. Radiance, Mind Blast, Penance, get all those extra bolts from the Dark Indulgence or whatever it's called. And for these Arcane Expulsions, I'm pretty sure on each one I'm hitting Fade before we're hit. Really important to have a good keybind for Fade. Right. Radiance, Mind Blast, Penance. I think we have a 2-stack that comes here, yeah, on the Shaman. So important to pay close attention to anyone who takes a 2-stack. We are getting Evangelism. I don't think I'd play it though. It'd be a little bit of an overcommitment. Did get a handful of torments there though. Held that penance for after the hit. We have a lot more wiggle room as Oracle to kind of hold a penance for a moment, being that it operates on charges. Yeah, there's just wiggle room to hold a spell until after an event. Okay, we have Evangelism. Drinking every chance I get. And I'm pretty sure I play it here just for the damage grab, really. I mean, we need the healing also. Playing Fade at the end of these pulls, really important. Also, always trying to make sure I play a flash heal every about 10 seconds, I think is what it is, to get that damage reduction proc. Okay, we have PI. There it goes. Yeah, I was about to say, I think this pull gets a little dicey. A quick Mass Dispel there could have saved the mage's life. I'll take partial blame. I don't think he played a defensive, though. Might not have had one. Okay. I think that shot him in, top the hell out of him. So we're getting executes in the field. There's a Mass Dispel. And there was an execute as well that did not spawn a Shadow Fiend, so I'd really love to see developers get their shit together. Yeah, it still happens. They said it's going to be a 100% chance. It's less than 100% chance, which sucks. Okay, I have Penitence. I believe we play it next hallway. Next hallway is nasty. We still have magic dispels, but we also have bleeds, 2 target bleeds. I play Shadow Meld. Very strong racial here. If you're selected, which you can see with the targeted cast add-on, you can meld it before it lands, and you'll save 2 bleeds. Let's see, I have all spells. Evangelism first. Getting my single dispel out. I don't think I got a single Shadowment here. I don't think I was selected with the bleed ever. Or maybe I was and I just missed it, so let's see. Probably going to start seeing some defensive penance. Yep, there was one. Some executes finally. And I believe we play Uppy's next pull. So you might also notice, whenever I set my focus, it puts a skull. I've been doing that for my coordinated group to kind of help us focus down a kill target. I think it might help in pugs too. And purge these guys too. Purges on boss. So I think, yeah, I was selected one too many times here. So here goes the Uppies. Yeah, too bad I wasn't picked. I don't think I was picked once. Maybe someone can check me on that. Desperate Prayer, we just gotta. I got a mana. So, probably should have melled and drinked. But we're okay. So just, in those hallways, just really being vigilant about watching your party frames, seeing where those dots go, give them love. Great hallway for defensive penance. So this boss has purges. For boss timers, I'm only tracking the suppression zone. That's essentially our AoE event. I think we have another death here too on the mage. Is that my fault? I don't know what killed him. I think he was out of frame. He had a bleed on him, but he just like got one shot. But I played Evangelism there to cover our first suppression event. There's PI, defensive penance. So I think one of the best approaches here is having people topped before the suppression event. Because you don't want your allies holding the bleed for long. You want it to clear. Okay, here comes the second one. I use Desperate Prayer, the defensive penance. Another defensive penance. So that one was a Mind Blast to charge it up, a Radiance, and then a huge defensive penance into player. There's a Purge up. There it goes. And I think in my last Oracle video, you didn't really see as many defensive penance, but the higher the key, the more you'll have. Playing Fade on all those events. I did just get Evangelism. I believe I close out the fight with it. Evangelism sub 20% health is really fun. Let's see if I get one for us. So we'll Evangelism Death, Mind Blast Penance. A lot of torments, a lot of pets. Yep. Evangelism Death, Mind Blast Penance. Always something to watch for on bosses. Pretty easy to get that sequence. death, Mind Blast Penance, you can also do that. You don't have to have the evangelism element. Yeah, if you're ever in execute range or have execute mobs, death first and execute first, then your Mind Blast Penance, you'll get hella torments. Yeah, when it comes to the torments I've talked about before, you probably already know this, but getting torments off penance and death, easy. Getting torments off the Mind Blast is the harder one, so the more of those you can get, the better you'll do. Okay, we have PI. Uppies will be up in a moment. I think I use it on the next pull. So on open here, I'm trying to get better with mana and dot less. I cast one dot and just unload both my penance. Casters are pink. Everyone else is a shade of red. Okay. PI's out. Dropping void shields as I get them. Trying to never cast a penance if I have a void shield active. Just got evangelism. Yep. Wow, even got an execute. So I'm not playing too aggressively in this key. And what I mean is I'm not really fighting for executes as much as I would like to. So, Better Blizz Plates, please help. I don't know what's different between Plater and Better Blizz Plates, but they found a way to have the color change happen, which is beautiful for priests. Stay tuned. So this guy does a nasty channel. I'm kind of holding back on my spells here, my Mind Blast, I mean. But here it comes, the Consuming Shadows. I Q Mind Blast with it. Ultimate Penitence with a Death on the way up. And I still have both personals. This would be a great pull to catch some executes, but I'm not really even trying with Platinator, sadly. Here comes a second one. This time was both of my personals. Defensive Penance, triaging with Shadow Mend. Void Shields as I get them. I do have Evangelism back, but I think I use next pull. Hallelujah, and execute. And that was my Fear Bomb. I think I was playing it just for good measure. But these pulls, and throughout the rest of the key, we have, I think it's called Terror Wave from the casters. Very important to hover your finger on Psychic Scream, because it counts. Okay, Skull is set, Focus is set. Looks like I played 3 dots. Maybe a little bit of an overcommitment. PI's out. Here goes Evangelism. Let's see if I get some executes here. This one's a little bit easier of a play. Yep. And we're also going to start seeing a lot of tank heal absorbs. With my grid 2, they'll show up as red. A defensive penance is really going to be what you want to do there. Okay, Skull and Focus is set. Dot 3. Just start unloading penance for dot spread. And I don't know these mobs apart too well yet by name, but I don't... Yeah, the other one does not do a Consuming Shadow. This one does a Consuming Shadow. So I was kind of reserving my spells, reserving my Mind Blast for some extra output when it counted. And if I could see executes, that'd be nice to have extra output when it counted. And execute. I don't think I get a drink off here, but that's fine. Playing Torments helps your mana a lot. Alright, this boss. I really don't think there's too much to it. I'm tracking 2 timers with bigwigs. The Cosmic Sting starts out as a 3-target cleave. And the Astral Grasp. So I played my Evangelism before the Grasp. Better timing might have been to delay it. If this were a higher key, we would need to delay it. Maybe the first one's okay, but it gets harder as it goes. And with Encroaching Shadows here, I'm just really doing my best to never cast a dot and just keep dots active with Penance, switching targets as I need to. Okay, I was selected for that one, so I preemptively faded. Also gave myself a defensive Penance. With Penance, it's all about knowing when to and when not to, and that was a 2. Okay, that guy ran out of dots, so I switched my target. And it's the next guy. Okay, I played both my defensives here. Switching targets for dot spread. Got myself a pain step for that one. Defensive Penance into the lock. Switching targets for dot spread. And I think I remember this fight almost falls apart. Let's see if we can figure out why. I think it was just personal error. User error, not mine, the others. Let's see. I do have uppies here. I believe I play it. But this Evangelism was better timed, overlapped the Grasp. And PI as well. There it goes. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, the Shaman and the Lock, if you replay that, they took an aura on their character. They got stung and were standing in ground damage, I think is what happened. So let's see here. I think this is the uppies. Yikes. Okay. 1 dot. Penance. Cheaper on the mana. I wish he wouldn't have ran away from me without atonement. Evangelism in 7. I think there's still enough health here in this pull to play it. Let's see. Yep. Getting a Torment off the Mind Blast. Okay, that was a pretty good Evangelism. A lot of Torments. 1 extra dot cast for good measure. Here comes some executes. Yep, love it. Yeah, whenever those totem frames are active, that's kind of the only place my eyes are looking. Is at my Penance and Death cooldowns and the time remaining on the Torments. Priorities really switch when pets are active. So I picked a focus here. It might be better to focus a caster. I don't know. If anyone has thoughts, let me know. Also, a lot of times, if anyone's wondering about Void Shields, I have a macro, I've talked about it before, to cast shield at player. Really strong as Oracle, we have a talent that gives us extra. But I would say it's probably half and half. I think half the time I will void shield the tank. Half the time I'll void shield myself. And then so we have evangelism up, and I think I picked the wrong focus kill here. These are the two mobs where one does the group attack and one doesn't. And they both look the same in my UI, so I need to figure that out. But I think we should be focus killing the other one. Let's see. And also we're going to start seeing major heal absorbs on tank. Radiance into a defensive penance. Looks like I should have Radiance Mind Blast defensive penance, but we're okay. Yeah, and I did lead the group slightly astray here. I should have put the focus on this guy. Shadow Rift, Void, something. Okay, here comes the next group attack. I should be fading. Oop, fade was a little bit late. And I think we all health potion there, which was that's what they're for. Execute, then Mind Blast Penance, getting all of those torments. And thankfully, we had health stones and health potions, or we might have had a death there. And a contributing factor would have been I told the group to focus the wrong guy. Yeah, so definitely focus down the one that hits the group. And here we have this boss. So I think I talked about earlier, like the older a pull gets, the more defensive penance you'll play. And I think that's how it goes here. A lot of my penance are offensive to start, and then they start migrating to defensive. Goes without saying, you want to dispel the tank watching his position. Party nameplates is a great way to keep an eye on positioning. And anytime there's a volleyball catch, play defensive. Oh shit. Should be dispelling here a little bit late. Sorry, guy. I'm about to get volleyballed. I fade. We do have uppies in the chamber. Evangelism is a minute away. And Shadowman, so strong. I still have my Desperate Prayer. I think I queue into the dispels here better. All of my Radiance and Evangelism are firing off the tank. That is my tank healing macro. Makes those spells really easy. Okay, Evangelism is coming up. Still have uppies. Here's the Evangelism. I think I'm trying to hold uppies for a little bit later in the fight, when more health is missing. In party, I mean. Faded. Second PI. Oh wait, where's my action tracker? Sorry guys, it's supposed to be below my player. But I think what I did there was Radiance into Evangelism. Always bad if you're caught with your pants down and you're in uppies with no atonements out. Pain Septum just because trying to be nice, I had it to give. Fight's almost over. Boom. So I'm starting to get my 15s checked off the list. Just not had too much time to play, but that looks like 3,200 for me. having fun with this season. Wish I could play a little bit more. Wish I could play my Aug more. But time is precious, you know. It's been a little busy. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate all the support lately. It's been fun getting back into my YouTube. Please give it some engagement. We're doing really good for the season so far. Comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my Medify for all of my coaching. The super thanks and memberships are open on my YouTube now, so if you want to throw some support, if you learn anything from the video, I wouldn't mind the support. But it looks like for the key, 32.6 thousand per second. I miss Voidweaver. I also miss seeing executes with nameplates. But there is a solution. We're working towards better Blizz plates. Hopefully that the add-on author will get it up to snuff soon. And I think from a viewer standpoint, better Blizz plates is better to watch. From a player standpoint, playing executes, I think it's better for us as well. It is a profile which I can share as soon as I make the switch. But this is probably the last video I'm making for a week or so. I'm going to be switching gears to edit my dance video. Stay tuned for that as well if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. It's pretty cool. I'm a fire spinner and I make choreography. There's a lot going into this. Been choreographing it for about 2 years. I'm booked for the venue, booked a videographer. I do all my own editing. Should be really cool. And I'll send you a link if you're interested. But until next time, Disc out.